So, what do you do when the new still you purchased doesn't fit in your still room? Well, you get creative and cut a hole in the floor. All this and more on this episode of the Great American Whiskey Cookers. Talk to me a little bit about your still and your operations and how all that works. So, how big is your still? When we walk into the still room, what are we going to see? Who makes your still? Where'd you get it from?
Yeah.
Did you build it by hand? All of that.
Yeah, so we have 4 different stills at Cedar Ridge, all from the manufacturer Karl, formerly Christian Karl out of Germany. They produce a really great still, and we're dedicated to using it, in part because we have German roots, and my parents wanted to kind of bring that to Cedar Ridge. So the 4 stills that we have, they're all called Karl. We have Karl 1, Karl 2, Karl 3, Karl 4.
Makes sense.
And Karl 1 we got when we first opened up. It's so I think it holds about 20 gallons. I mean, it's teeny. It's so small that at this point we can't even use it for like a pilot program or anything like that. It's mainly here for historical purposes, sentimental value. We point it out on tours and things like that because it's what got us started. Without that still, we wouldn't be here, so we'll always have it. After that, you get into more of the functional stills that we use today. Karl number 2 is a 100-gallon pot still that is fractioned out. It's a hybrid still that can operate like a whiskey still, where it goes from a pot straight to a condenser, or you can replumb it, repipe it so that it goes to a short column or a tall column. That way, you can produce rum, gin, vodka, brandy. And that was really necessary for us when we got that one back in 2009, because at that point we weren't whiskey focused. We were a business that made wine, whiskey, vodka, gin. We made a little bit of everything, so we needed a still that could produce a little bit of everything. You fast forward to Karl 3 and 4. Those are dedicated whiskey stills with the gooseneck on top, the swan neck on top. One is an 800-gallon alpha still, so a monstrous still. It goes from the floor literally to the ceiling. I mean, it takes up the space of the room. So that's our alpha still, 800 gallons, and then we have a 200-gallon pot still that is the exact same thing, just miniature. And that 200-gallon pot still does all of our finishing. That's where we collect our heads, hearts, tails, things like that.